Hong Kong's leader has warned the territory is on the verge of a very dangerous situation. Protests have erupted once again overnight. Joining us now live from Hong Kong is Primrose Riordan, journalist with the Financial Times. Primrose, you're part of the 100,000 strong Aussie diaspora there in Hong Kong. How is this affecting your day-to-day life?
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things which does tend to impact everyone in the city now. I've had a friend who works in in the finance sector here, who came out of a subway station and immediately went into tear gas, and another friend, who had a similar experience, and then came across a mother with children who also got tear gas. So it's one of those things which is impacting people's everyday lives, and particularly yesterday, which is a normal work day here. And usually it's not really a city known for industrial action. And yet we had, organisers estimate at least 20,000 people went on strike yesterday or didn't turn up to work. But then at the same time, we had rallies across the city and protesters disrupting public transport. So it seemed like the whole city had kind of shut down in a way. I mean, obviously there were still people going to work and that sort of thing, but it did feel like the city was in sort of a fair bit of chaos. And obviously, as you can see from the images, we had huge sort of pitch battles between police and protesters at a number of locations across the city. Police stations were, paralysed because they had protesters throwing bricks at them. So it is one of those things which is starting to impact people's everyday lives here, especially yesterday, because usually the protests have been confined to the weekend and particularly on Sunday night. And this is sort of really them starting to enter the sort of day-to-day lives, I guess.
So do you think this is going to be the new normal now, or at least for the next little while?
It's hard to tell at this stage, but it does seem like they're just sort of, ongoing, essentially, because as we saw yesterday when the territory's leader, Carrie Lam, stood up, she didn't offer any changes or major solutions to the crisis. So it sort of, allowed it to continue to go. And this is, again, her first press conference in about 2 weeks. So she sort of left a sort of vacuum where there was no real leadership about how to handle this crisis, and with the police essentially having to take charge when, in a lot of cases, protesters have been almost outsmarting the police by having protests at all different parts of the city and, jumping on the subway and going to another protest and suddenly police having to clear another area on a totally different side of the city. So, yes, it seems to me like this is something which doesn't quite have an end point yet. We've got a press conference coming up today, most likely, from the Beijing side of things. So we'll see what comes out of that. But yeah, as I said, it seems to be sort of ongoing at the moment.
Primrose, well, stay safe there. We really appreciate your time this morning. Good to have you back on First Edition.
Thank you.